So here's your Excel file. You have yearly, and you're going to determine how much you have after 1 year if you compound once a year, and you're going to find the APY. I'm going to do quarterly in the next section so you can see how this works. Again, we're trying to find the APY, and then you'll do monthly and weekly. For daily, we're going to use the equation, which will just give us the answer without having to go through 365 steps. So here's the quarterly one. We have $2,000. We're doing this quarterly, which means every 3 months or 4 times a year. So you're going to get interest 4 times a year, and then we're going to calculate the APY. First, we need the periodic rate because 6.5% is the APR. It is not the periodic rate, obviously. So here we're just going to take the 6.5% APR and divide it by 4, because there's 4 compounds a year. So you're getting 1/4 the interest. The total compounds is just going to be 4 because we're only doing this for 1 year. All interest is calculated on 1 year. If I put 2 years in there, we'd get 8 total compounds. But we're not. We're just doing this for 1 year. So it's 4 total compounds. And that periodic rate, you don't want to put it in with your calculator because you never know, but you're only seeing 3 decimals here. If you see more decimals, who knows what it'll be. So you're going to do this all with Excel because it saves many decimal places. So we have $2,000 right now, and after 3 months we're going to get some interest. We're going to calculate the interest by taking the $2,000 and multiplying it by the interest rate. We're going to lock that cell up because we don't want the interest rate, the periodic rate, changing. So after 3 months, we get $32.50 in interest. We add that to the $2,000 we started with, and at the end of 3 months, we're going to have $2,012.50. That's after 3 months. So that's it's like our new balance. So now for the second 3 months, we're going to find interest on the new amount that we have, which is $2,032. So that's the new amount that we have. And we're going to multiply that by our periodic rate, and we're going to get interest for the second 3 months, which is $33, which is a little bit more because we have a little bit more in the bank because it's being compounded. I can't just use that cell because A1 will become A2 and that won't work. So I have to complete the second line. So I have that much in the bank after 3 months, and I'm adding the interest for the second 3 months. And now after 2 3-month periods, I have 2065. And now I think I can drag it down and it'll catch up. And it does. So now I'm going to determine the APY. That's the actual yield. The more compounds, the more yield. So really this is like very similar to a percentage increase. If you recall, this is the annual percentage yield. A percentage rate is just simply interest divided by principal. And so what we're going to do here is find the interest by taking the amount I have at the end of the year got to use parentheses, the amount I have at the end of the year, minus the amount that I started with, and that's going to give me my total interest, and divide that by the principal, or the starting value, which was $2,000, and just hit enter there. And I get 6.60%, which is a little bit higher than my APR because I am compounding. Here's the formula that we're going to use for the daily compounding. Instead of using 365 different days in Excel, we're just going to use this formula, which will accomplish the same thing. And here's a list of our variables. Here's the formula. A is going to be our output, or the amount that we're going to have after we do the calculations. Here's all our inputs. P is the principal or starting amount. R is the APR, annual percentage rate. N is the number of compounds per year. So that would make R over N actually our periodic rate. And T is the number of years. That makes N times T the total number of compounds. So the information that we're going to use for this particular example is a $5,000 principal, a 9% annual percentage rate, 365, this is daily, so there's going to be 365 separate compounds for 1 year. Now this information, I'm just going to plug it into the formula. So I put it all in the formula now. Principal, interest rate. Excel will handle a percentage and convert it, but your calculator won't. 365 number of compounds, and so I'm going to have 365 of those compounds. And so now I'm just going to get my calculator and punch it in. And I've already done it right here. 5,000 times 1 plus 9% over 365 raised to the 365. You can get over on that. And I got $5,470.81. So I put the amount there, and that is the total amount. Now, if I want to find the APY, I need the interest divided by the principal. And make that into a percentage. So if I started with 5,000 and then now I have 5470, obviously my interest is the difference between these two, which is $470.81. And my principal is 5,000. So this is really just interest divided by principal. That's what interest rate is. So a quick way of getting this as a percentage, which is a number over 100, I can divide this and it'll be a number over 1 and then multiply it by 100, both the numerator and the denominator. That's what a percentage is. So I can take that's 470.81 divided by 5,000. And times that by 100. and I'm getting 9.4162. Which is 9.4162 over 100, which is 9.4162% APY.